Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you guys for joining me to the third video of my Blader slash Musa guide series. My name is Wilkie, and in this video, well, I'm not really sure if you can call this a video, but basically I'm going to talk about itemization. I'm going to show my current gear, and I prepared a little, I guess, image or picture with a couple things, rather a couple gear combinations on, and in case you're interested, I will basically also upload the picture and put the link into the description so you can download it. But I'd advise you not to take just take a look at the picture and jump to your conclusions, because there is, well, at least I have my thoughts about why I've put certain gear combinations there and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, let's just go, and I'm gonna show you my gear, which is as you can see, not really that great. It's all right. Obviously the weakest part is my dual Grunil. The witch's earrings could be replaced. The rings are alright. Obviously my bear's necklace needs desperate replacement. But other than that, I can actually PvP sort of okay. Obviously, if I meet somebody who's full Ted boss geared or stuff, I have a lot of trouble killing them. And I know a lot of people might actually jump me for not using bags and accuracy, and to be fair, I don't really have any, or not any, but I don't have that many accuracy issues, really. I fought 61 people with muskins and stuff, and I was doing it right, really. I tried using my plus 50 in Blackhorn Warrior Bow, the one with accuracy, and I didn't really feel much of a difference other than my damage was lower, and my hit rate maybe improved by 10%, maybe. Like, it doesn't really, it didn't really feel that much to me, so I'm not entirely sure. And my Kazarika is not really that great. It's 3, so for me personally, I think accuracy is either insanely dependent on the class, or just quite overrated, or only interesting if you really fight somebody with evasion gear. Thus, the following image you'll see is not gonna be, well, how should I put this? Is mainly focused on damage, not really focused on defense. And like I said, it's a roadmap, it's a guideline for you to, get an idea of what gear could be looking like, and it's definitely not something that is 100% true. There is no perfect item build. It really depends on what you want to build your character for. If you prefer more defense, evasion, accuracy, raw damage, whatever it is that you're preferring, obviously you have to adjust certain items and stuff. Like, obviously boss gear is pretty self-explanatory that there's nothing better than that at this point. But it's pretty much accuracy, not accuracy, pretty much accessories are where, I guess, the builds really start to differ, at least on certain occasions. So yeah, let's just go ahead and take a look at my super leech paint skills. So let's take a look at what I guess created. First off, before explaining certain things in detail, this is not set in stone. This is my personal opinion, so you may have a different opinion. You may have read something else, or somebody else in your guild, friends, told you something else. That is perfectly fine. What you're seeing here is basically, I guess, my personal roadmap and what your transition between gears can be. So basically these 4 columns are sort of to describe what your gear can be looking like at certain stages, and kind of describes the transformation from, starting gear, from super poop gear into better gear, into eventually super duper hardcore expensive shite gear that will allow you to melt face and stuff like that. So basically this is sort of like weapon, offhand, armor, awakening, like Machindo, and then accessories. Basically the baseline is for people that really start the game anew. They don't have any income, they don't have any money, they don't have, stuff lying in their bank, so they can just switch. So for those people, I think it's the safest choice to just go for a Uriel weapon, or blade for that matter. You can't really go wrong. It's relatively cheap, it has very decent base AP, it still has human damage, so it'll still help you in PvP should you desire to PvP with a Uria, which I wholeheartedly I don't recommend PvPing if you're on the left side, really, or even if you're starting to get into mid-range gear. Uh, Mid-range is alright, but baseline, you should definitely not try to PvP, or you might actually ruin it for you, because you're getting completely slaughtered and you're not able to touch people. But basically, the baseline gear is set to um, keep or speed up the pace at which people can progress, so they will able to, you know, to make the transition to better gear and able to sort of start PvPing without having to spend ages of grinding and making gear. Basically, White Hornbow, before people jump me with accuracy, as I said, I never had issues with accuracy. That doesn't mean that there isn't a case where White or the Black Hornbow with accuracy wouldn't be better, but in the long run, the White Hornbow is just so much better, because Bag's gloves are something you will always get at some point, at which case the accuracy offhand is pretty much going to be useless. So yeah, for PV, I think Whitehorn is still the best choice. In fact, I still use it right now, even though I don't have bags. I just have a Kazarka, and I still do reasonably fine in PvP. So, anyways, armor choice for starters is Torita's helmet, not helmet, is armor and shoes. The reason for that is those two pieces, rather this piece alone, and the side effect will give you 120 willpower. That will give you a lot of room early on to not having to chug herbal juices or constantly recover your willpower, because if you start out you have 100 flat, that's it. Your health level is low, so leveling up using food, that takes a bit of time. So definitely I think this is the best starting choice, and with these two pieces you will still get 5 AP. That'll help you grind a bit faster. For the Machindo, this is pretty obvious. You get the Immaculate one from the quest, but personally I think it's not worth upgrading, and I, for my choice, am skipping Immaculate, and I will go straight for Dandelion one instead of going the Immaculate one, because I think the price or the money you have to spend compared to the Iron one is just so much higher that you can pretty much just save up another 100 million or so and get a Dandelion one. But that's just my personal choice. I like to skip certain things, so this is not exactly what I was doing or what I am doing currently. But if I were to reroll, I'd probably start, creating a roadmap like that. And for the accessories as a baseline, if you're starting the game anew, there's literally only one thing I can tell you, and that is get red Corel rings. They're super cheap, they're really, really good, and you can basically afford 2 of them with the level 30 level up reward. I think that gives you 1 million already. That is enough to actually buy 2 of these, and they are really, really good. Probably the best AP as well as DP ratio accessories in the game. I think they're around 350k, 400k maybe, so they're super, super good, and that is really the only thing I'd recommend buying or really going for. And the rest, whatever you find, whatever you get from quest rewards or even events, just slap that on. It's not really that vital early on. For mid-range, try to get a Laverto. They are not that expensive. Well, they are expensive, but you can buy a plethora of them. There's super many on the marketplace. So if you don't like enchanting, you don't have memory fragments, you don't have whatever else. You don't really need memory fragments, but still. If you don't like enchanting, farm the money, buy them. Whitehorn Bow, if you follow that, you already have them, so you don't have to switch them. Armor pieces, this is where it gets a bit interesting. Now you can see I have either full Granil and full Heave. The reason for that is full Granil will give you 7 AP, 150 HP, and basically, you just have to switch out 2 pieces from the starting gear. The issue is, or it's not really an issue, but the thing is, if you don't have full boss armor yet, and the first piece you will in most cases get are the gloves, you will take out the gloves from Granil. That will, first off, destroy the full set bonus, and also take away the 5 AP from you. So what you're basically left with is 3 Granil pieces that will simply give you 150 HP. And furthermore, if you start taking away more of these Granil pieces, chances are you're gonna completely destroy any set effect. Heave, on the other hand, while it doesn't give you any base AP or anything, it gives you more HP than Granil does, and it has better defense. And the best thing about that is that Heave doesn't care what pieces you are wearing. You just need to wear 2 pieces of Heave and you will get 250 HP plus. So this is basically the reason if you were to make the transition from, mid-range going to endgame stuff, but you're not able to afford full boss armor, this combination is actually really, really good. So if you were to sacrifice, I guess, 7 AP and instead already go for heave, you basically, you don't have to change anything other than getting your boss armor for that matter. But that is, like I said, a personal choice. I'm currently running around on full Granil because I kind of slept and didn't realize that I could actually go for this rather than this. Like, I could use heave even because my ranger actually wears heave, but for some reason I just went full Granil and yeah. Now I'm not gonna change to heave because, I can just buy bag and muskin if I needed to. Moshindo, like I said, I don't think Immaculate is actually worth the money if you still want an upgrade and you can't afford a Dandelion or there's none on the market. Obviously, Immaculate is going to pack more punch at the cost of quite a bit of money. Accessories, I'd still say red corals for earrings. Blue corals are cheaper than witch's earrings and the pre-version is better. So I take these over these, at least in the early stages. The Bearer's Necklace is a very, very, very cheap and powerful necklace that upgraded gives you pretty good AP for very little money. So I think this is pretty much the first one you should focus on. And for the belts, Schultz follows the similar rule. Very cheap belt, pretty decent AP if upgraded. Base versions of these are not that great, but getting them to pre is relatively safe. So this shouldn't take too much time or money for that matter. If you're transitioning more into the endgame stuff, you should be looking if you can get a Kazarka. If not, stick to Laverto. Right now, they are almost equal. But in the future, there seems to be, at whatever point, a patch coming that will probably buff Kazarka. So if you have the chance to get one, I'd say do it, but it's definitely not the priority pick. For the offense, now we're getting into the point where you can start not worrying, but you should take a look at better offense. Now basically you have two choices. The recently released Nuver is pure flat AP with 10% resistance against everything, so while it boosts the highest AP, it also comes with a little bit of a defense stat, I guess. And it has 2 slots, so overall more AP and a second gem slot. Kutum, on the other hand, gives you quite a bit of AP, a pretty good amount of DP for that matter as well as accuracy. We don't actually know how much, but it's accuracy nonetheless, as well as 2 slots. And the passive bonus on Kutum is you gonna ignore 10% of the enemy resistance. So they kind of mix both offensive and defensive stats, although I would say Kutum is more on the defensive side than Nuver. But basically, it really depends. If you like playing more of a hybrid build or you prefer more defense, then go Kutum. If you really like AP and you like that big number, then obviously Nuver would be the choice for you. And keep in mind that the 10% ignore resistance, or rather the plus 10% resistance, is not actually to be neglected. So that also depends on how you build the gems and stuff like that. As I said, this is probably the, I say, best money to efficiency ratio in terms of PvP gear, because if you have bags, gloves, and musk and shoes, you're actually pretty good along in PvP in terms of accuracy, evasion, and stuff like that. And if you pack heave to that, you will have around, I think, 100 HP less than boss armor. You'll sacrifice a couple points of DP, but you're definitely much cheaper than with a full boss armor, and getting Habitat Tree armor can be quite a pain. So I'd say this is what most people will focus on until they actually can grab or enchant boss armor themselves. Now obviously at this point, I didn't list the iron one here because, this is not really endgame worthy anymore, even though I still use it. But if you can, Dandelion is obviously going to be the best one you can get. And if not, Immaculate is still good, or even Iron one, I still use it. I'm still very happy with it, so. Anyways, going to the accessories. Now this is where stuff gets rather weird or personal, really, because now it really depends on what you want to focus on. A lot of people prefer, they aim for around 200, 210, maybe 220 AP, and they then hammer the rest in DP. That is your choice. I don't like it really, because I tried wearing defensive gear in the arena. I cranked my DP up to 290, which certainly isn't that much. But in all honesty, I died before the combo was even halfway finished, so yeah. And we tried the same when people had 320 DP, and it didn't really. It basically, they survived one skill longer, or half of the skill, but they still died somewhere in between the combos. So, personally, I don't think the defense is worth it at this point, unless you really focus on it on more points and you're confident that your AP is good enough to A, grind, and B, kill people in PvP. If you don't have trouble killing people, obviously your second concern should be your defense and survival. But if you have trouble killing people, then obviously your first goal should be AP or accuracy if you can't hit them. So for that matter, as I said, Red Corral probably the best or the most efficient item in the game at this point, and Mark of Shadows for pure AP, reasonably priced, good scaling on the enchantment, but after you get them to duo, stuff gets a bit expensive, so take care for that. Now for earrings, stuff gets a bit different as well. As you can see, I didn't list Blue Corel. The reason I listed them here is they are cheap and they're good, but Witch's earrings give you more AP the higher they're upgraded, and Red Corel earrings, while they start off with 2 AP less than the blue ones, they give you quite a bit of accuracy, which is something a lot of people favor, so this could be an option. Generally, you will want to decide between those two, or maybe a defensive setup, or even, if you're really on it, you could try to get tongue grade earrings right now. There's quite a few on the market due to events, so if you ever thought that you would like to get them, I'd say right now is the best chance, because before the event I saw like 1 or 2 maybe pop up on the market, not a whole lot, and now there's like 200 of them on the market. So if you have the money and you want to go for it, then right now is the best choice. For belt and seal, you can see I made this little box around them. The reason for that is these two are actually a set. If you wear both of them, you'll get an additional 5 accuracy, which is pretty decent. Also, they come with combined stats. Both of them have AP DP. The Ancient Weapon Core gets 1 AP, 1 DP per enchantment. The Ancient Guardian Seal gets 2 AP and 1 DP. So they are actually pretty good, but they are getting more and more expensive since the events ended, where they basically were dropping like flies. So I'll probably skip them and go straight for Ogre Ring or Lightens Power Stone, because right now the market is flooded with them. But generally, these are very good accessories. They are very good even later because, like I said, they're hybrid. They give you both AP and DP, and as well as 5 accuracy, which is never a bad thing to have. And obviously, for the endgame column, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Like, the top one is nothing beats Kazark at this point. Offhand, Nuver, Kutum, that is really personal choice. Full boss armor, nothing is better than this. Even though this is super expensive and hard, this is the best item combination in terms of armor, at least for now. Same goes for Dandelion, nothing beats that in terms of AP. For raw AP rings, Crescent Guardian Ring is the best in slot. If you want to go hybrid, you could always go for Red Corel, or if you can't afford those, Mark of Shadows are much cheaper to upgrade. Until you get to the point of, tree or tet, then things really get fuzzy with the fail stacks and stuff. So you really gotta, at this point, you really gotta think, how much money do I have, and what can I spend the money on, or where do I really need upgrades? Same thing here for the earrings. Like I said, tongue grade earring is a possibility right now, but generally they are not very easy to get, so I can't really recommend them, because probably in a month or so they will be sold out again and you'll basically have no chance to get them really. For belts, Basilisk belt is obviously the king of raw AP, follows a similar rule than the Crescent Guardian Ring, and Ogre Ring or Latent's Power Stone is best in slot for raw AP as well. Super good, and right now they are actually, they still are super expensive, but you can buy them at least. The marketplace is full of these items due to the events, so yeah, if you ever wanted to YOLO away your money or upgrade anything, right now is the time. Anyways, I rambled on for way too long. Hopefully this makes a bit of sense. Like I said, I'll upload the picture somewhere, so you can take a look at that without me rambling on about it. But basically, this is what your gearing could be looking like. As I said, there's other combinations. You could be using Tree Spirit Belt. You could be using, I don't know, what could you be using? Outlaw's Ring instead of Red Corral. You could be using, well, there's not that much difference really, but you know, you get the point that personal choice is what matters most. If your playstyle dictates, or if you place, you know, if you put value onto more of defense or something, then obviously you have to adjust your item build accordingly. Anyways, this concludes my 3 guide videos. This is roughly an hour. Hopefully this will help, especially new Musa slash Bladers that get into the game, to give them a bit of clearance in terms of items, what to level up, and how to build their, you know, skills and stuff. But yeah, if you have any questions, if anything was confusing, is unclear, feel free to hit me up in the comment section and I'll gladly help you out or explain a bit more in detail. And yeah, like I said, I'm pretty much going to leave it at that. There's plenty combo videos and PvP guides, so I'm not gonna bother with that at this point because my exams are coming soon, and I definitely do not want to spend as much time playing right now. So yeah, I'll probably not make any videos for the next 3-4 weeks or so, and after that I'll see where the content will lead me. Anyways, like I said, thank you guys for joining me so far, and yeah, see you guys in the next one.